Okay, good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you guys all for coming today. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the book. You'll get all right. In this gripping memoir, Jimmy Slim Rumsey tells the extraordinary story of his life, his inspiring perspective, most difficult challenges, the redemption for his past, embarking on a process of self-healing and extending forgiveness. Because of his experiences of being born on the run to a fugitive father, coming of age in California as a formidable gang member, serving time behind bars, and nearly losing his life after being shot in the face at close range, the pages inside this book stand as a genuine testament to the power of positive personal transformation and the endurance of the human spirit. We rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope. Romans 5 3 4. Jimmy Rumsey works with At Promise Youth in California Santa Ana Unified School District as a restorative practice intervention specialist. His own life experiences with a dysfunctional family, incarceration, violence, and gangs have helped him serve as a positive mentor to youth who have endured similar life circumstances. He is highly respected in the community for his commitment to helping others heal from their own life traumas. His wife, Tasha, stood beside him as he went from being a risk to himself and others to being a valuable contributor to his community. And Jimmy is also a devoted father of five children. If you want to open your book to the prologue, you can read along with me. When he pulled out the gun and pointed it at me, I didn't flinch. I didn't even think about running away. I just stood there staring down the barrel of a gun. It wasn't out of fear that I froze. At that point in my life, I didn't care if I died. My eyes met his. Go ahead, do it. He pulled the trigger. When the bullet pierced through the front of my chin, I fell backward and smacked my head on the sidewalk. As I lay on the concrete, blood filled my mouth. I couldn't breathe. I was drowning in my own blood. All of my life choices culminated in this very moment, the moment I received a 30 bullet to the face at close range. It's hard to explain, but many things raced through my mind when I was near death. What I remember the most was thinking of my two daughters. I kept seeing their smiling faces. I didn't want to leave them without a father. It was at that moment that I realized I had something to live for. I wasn't ready to die. I wanted more time to live. I wanted more time with my family. I wanted more time to break free from the struggle, the trauma, and the pain. I wanted more time to change my ways. I wanted the opportunity to give my children a good life. A split second before I lost consciousness, I thought, if only I had a second chance. So without further ado, here is Jimmy Slim Rumsey.
All right. Thank you for that, Tasha. Um, yeah. Thank you guys all for being here. Appreciate you coming. What's up, Marco? Haven't seen this guy in forever. Good to see you. Yeah. It means a lot to me to be here with you guys. Talk about my book. We'll do a Q&A after. But just want to explain a little bit about the book and what made me write it and why I do what I do. In writing the book, it was hard. It was really hard. Right, it took me 7 years to write the book. Um, and in those 7 years, I was doing the work in the schools, in the community in Santa Ana, and I'm opening up my old wounds and traumas, reliving all this while I'm working with youth that are dealing with the same thing. Um, I was going to multiple funerals from kids losing their life to gang violence, drug overdose, suicides. And so there'd be times when I'd make a lot of progress, my heart's broke from burying kids that I love and work closely with that were facing a lot of the struggles and challenges. And so I would have to close the book, put it away for months at a time, and then remind myself why I was writing the book. I was writing the book to try to give hope and try to inspire kids, parents, teachers, uh, anybody who was dealing with things. When I was growing up, for those who read the book, no, I didn't have much support. My mother ended up with a couple uh, guys who were best for us, and there was times when I just felt hopeless, and I thought I didn't want to be here anymore. And that time came when the individual pulled the gun out. I thought I was ready, to die. I thought I didn't want to be here no more, even though it was very selfish. I had two kids. I had a 2-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old daughter. I was 21 at the time. I was tired of being incarcerated. I was tired of being punished. Tired of being kicked out of places to live, schools that I did, just feeling like a failure. Um, and so I just stood there. My three friends with me did the right thing. They took off and ran. And I thought I was ready to check out, and I was wrong. Survived. Um, I started thinking about my kids at the time, and how am I going to be a better person so I could be a better father, so I could be a better husband, provide for my children. But I didn't know what that looked like. I have my wife's father who was helping me, supporting me. He was always somebody I could turn to, which I didn't really have to that point. So I just kind of wife, father, her family, and that was the support that I needed. And I took advantage of it. My life started to change. I used to always tell my wife, like, when I get my stuff together and I clean up my act, I'm gonna come back out to this community and help kids that you know are struggling like I once did. And I remember telling her that for probably about a good 10 or 15 years, and I had to go back to court. Justin, he's in the book. He helped me go back to court and file to have some of my record cleaned up so I can restore myself, get my record cleaned up so I can apply for those jobs and get to work. And so we did that. And, I always focused on my kids and education and how important it is so they don't have to go through the things that I did. And my kids started doing really well. Um, they all graduated with great grades. Some went to college. They're doing great things with their lives now. And it just didn't fulfill me. I didn't like I wasn't happy with just my family doing all right because I always thought about the kids back out here, everywhere that struggle, that don't have someone to turn to that maybe, felt like I once felt like my life didn't matter. And so um, I had to go through a lot, and I came back and I went to Project Kinship, and I was like, hey, my name is Jimmy. Basically, I had a lot of trouble growing up. Google my name. There's some newspaper articles out there about the guy I once was and how I'm better now, and I want to help. And they were like, come to our support circles on Tuesday night. And I was like, I didn't come here to go to support circles. Like I want to help people. And the founder was like, yeah, just go give it a try. And I started doing that. And then I realized, even though I had worked on myself and I was in a much better place in my life, I started realizing like these support groups are good. And that's when I realized that you can heal from your traumas because I was 40 years old when I went. And I never participated in support groups or any therapy or anything like that. I just thought, hey, I've been through all this stuff. I could deal with life. I've been through the mud. Like, what else can you do to me? But I was wrong, and I had to become vulnerable. I had to open up. I don't remember crying much or getting emotional any of my youth, but here I am crying in front of groups of strangers and stuff, expressing my traumas, and I'm like, man, this is weird. I'm breaking down here, and but other people were too, and you had all walks of life in there. We had attorneys, we had nurses, we had former gang members, we had business owners, we had regular employees, just everybody. I felt myself starting to heal through those support groups, and that's when Kim said, "Hey, I think you'll be good with the kids." in Santa Ana working in the schools. You want a job?" And I'm like, "I do." And but I'm on permanent disability, so I don't want to lose my benefits. And then I thought about it. I talked to my wife, and I'm like, you know what? This is what I've been asking for. And so I took a gamble and I took the position. And I've been working in the schools in Santa Ana. I just finished my seventh school year doing restorative practice in the schools in Santa Ana. We do a lot of intervention groups, uh, arts and healing, gang intervention, um, mediations, community interventions, um, anything we can do to help support those students is what I live for today. Um, and it's been a blessing. It's exactly what I wanted. Now I'm working back in the juvenile halls that I grew up in. My book is in juvenile halls, it's in schools in Santa Ana, and I get to go to juvenile hall and reflect with the kids who've read the book and them write their stories and express and get that stuff off their chest, out of their system. And yeah, it's just been beautiful to be in the position that I'm in now. I never like I don't want to say dreams, like my nightmares, thought I would write a book. I hated school growing up. I got kicked out of every school I went to, from Tustin to Santa Ana. I got expelled from the Santa Ana school district for hitting a teacher in the face with a book. And I regret it. At some point in my life, remorse set in, and I started to understand like those things that I did and that me and my friends did, it wasn't right. And so, this gave me an opportunity to right my wrongs, and to help shape the future. And it's been a dream come true here to be, in the community, um, trying to be the person in these youth's life that I needed growing up. And now that my book is out, it just came out January of this year, and I got so many kids, not just here in Santa Ana, Orange County, just everywhere. I just dumped off a bunch of books to the Alameda County Juvenile Hall when we were up at the Bay Area Book Festival, and they're reading. Kids are reading. A lot of kids, it's the first book they've ever read, and I'm hoping that we can grow from that. I'm hoping that we can continue to read more books together, and maybe even help them express themselves and write up. I have a dream to get these kids, and we put together some short stories where they all get a few chapters, and we compile a book, and maybe publish something in their names, from the kids that I work with in juvenile hall, even in the schools here. And so, yeah, that's what I'm on now. It's been a long ride, a lot of ups and downs. Um, thanks to my wife, she stayed with me the last 29 years. Her and her family have really been lifesavers to me with the support, and support goes a long way. And that was the reason of writing the book. Originally wrote it with the youth in mind, something that I can leave behind. The feedback has been overwhelmingly positive from educators, parents, kids, law enforcement. Everybody who's read the book has given me great feedback, and it looks like it's a book for everybody. There's something in there for people to learn, to see that love, support, communication can sometimes help some of us heal, and hopefully not have to have a story like mine. And so I'm gonna keep pushing my book out there, and hopefully it'll impact others to do better, and get them to believe that it's possible. I never thought I would write a book, and I did, and I'm just grateful for the turnout, grateful for all of you, um, to support it, to give me the good feedback. It really means a lot to me, and it's just the beginning. So we'll see where it takes us. It's funny, people have been reaching out to me like, "When's the second book coming out?" And I'm like, "Man, you guys know what this took out of me to write the first book? It took 7 years, and I wanted to give up so many times. Like, are you guys crazy or what?" But I'm actually considering writing a second book. They want me to go deeper into transformation, and so I'm actually considering doing that. I'm thinking maybe Slim Chances the Aftermath, and talk about, more in depth, like I said, of what that looked like, how that process was, and that can continue to help people as well. Uh, but yeah, I guess we'll open it up. I know some of you have read the book, If you guys have any questions, answer some questions. Um, so I remember actually my wife and I were in Hawaii visiting our daughter. Um, yeah, so she asked what was the moment that made me put pen to paper. And so we were in Hawaii visiting our daughter who was attending college. I think it was 2015, and we were just in awe that we were in Hawaii, right? From the things we had to go through growing up and not being able to afford to do that stuff, or even like when our daughter went to. When, I remember when she got the acceptance letter, and we were like, "Wow, she got accepted to college, right?" And then we looked at each other and we're like, "She's not gonna be able to go. We can't afford to send her to college in Hawaii." And then the next day, a big envelope comes with scholarship money, and so we start doing the math, and we're like, "I think she's gonna be able to go to school in Hawaii." I called the number, and I'm like, "Hey, I got a packet here. Is this real or is this junk?" And the guy is like, "It's real. She's offered scholarship money." So anyway, we end up in Hawaii, we're sitting on the beach and just in awe, like, wow, well, our daughter, our baby's going to school here. And I think it was at that moment that I realized, like, I turned out to be an all right dad. My kids going to college. And then an article came out before that, Behind the Badge, and it kind of highlighted my life, the old Jimmy Rumsey and the new Jimmy Rumsey. And so it was at that moment that we were there just enjoying Hawaii and our daughter's success. And I said, actually, people started reaching out to me from the article. Thank you for having the courage to share your story. Great story. We want more. We want to hear more about your life. And then at that moment in Hawaii, I said, maybe I should start writing a book or something. We just kind of laughed. We pulled out the laptop and I started going at it. We started writing a few pages there, and then it just sparked something. And I said, you know what? I can use this, to get the story out and hopefully inspire and give hope to others, at a bigger audience. And so it was that moment when I realized that maybe my story can inspire others. And that's when I started, 2015. And I didn't think I was ever going to finish the book. It was so hard. I almost just gave up on the idea multiple times. I almost just said, this isn't for me. It's too much. And then, when you're writing a memoir like mine, and you got to, or you're getting ready to share your story with the world, and you got to be vulnerable and you're putting all your stuff out there. I started going back and forth with that. I got to live with this. People are going to question me about this and that, and so I had to mentally prepare myself to put it out there and deal with the feedback. But I didn't have a book launch party because I just wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. Maybe people say that's what this guy gets. He lived a life doing this and that, but it's been the complete opposite. It's been great feedback. Yeah. So yeah, that's what inspired me to put the pen to paper. Any other questions? For sure. Appreciate that. Thank you, Rios. And so this is Adrian Rios. I work with him in Santa Ana School District. I actually, the first site I was at was with him, and we clicked right away. And like our hearts to serve and help those students over So it means a lot to me. Thank you, Rios. Wow. Thank you for that. I'm glad to hear it. And do it. Do what's in your heart to do. Is It's been very healing for me to get my story out there and give hope. So hopefully you can continue to pursue that. I'm sure you'll do great with it. Absolutely. Oh, thank you. Yeah, we need people to have that courage to get out there and do it. That's what it takes. So thank you and best of luck to you. So he asked what at what point did it click where I wanted to give back and work with the youth. Um, always been in me. I've always said it. Like my wife will tell you, like I've always said I wanted to do it, but I didn't want to be one foot in, one foot out. I didn't want to still be hanging with the homeboys and doing that and working with the kids and saying something else. I had to get myself right. And I know I had enough of that lifestyle after I got shot in '97. Um, I spent almost a month in the hospital, and I would contemplate, am I going to retaliate? Am I going to get my life together? I'm tired of breaking my mom's heart. I mean, she doesn't deserve this. She had a rough life too. I had Tasha by my side, um, but I had a lot of work to do myself. And then I got arrested when I got out of the hospital for gang member possession of a gun, and I'm back in jail. And I remember I called my mom first. I didn't want to call her and break her heart because she's always like, right there, just like my mom, pushing me to do my best. And when's enough? Enough is enough. And I called her, and I could hear it in her voice, and she's like, "When is this gonna stop?" She's like, "Man, you got two kids. You're in and out. You almost lost your life. You're in jail for a gun. Like, you got kids." And I told myself for the first time, I was 21, 1998. Um, I started telling myself, "I'm never coming back. I'm never coming back, and I'm never coming. My kids, I got to put them first." Every time from 11 years old on, before that, when I was locked up, I'm like, "I'll be back. I'm gonna go out and be out for 60 days, 30 days. I know I'm coming back." So I had to tell myself, enough is enough. I'm not going to hurt her. I'm not going to hurt my mom. I put my kids first. And I had a lot of work to do. You helped. You helped me go back to court and clean that stuff up. And then I started feeling good about myself. Um, so I think it clicked, because I didn't know how to be a dad. I didn't know how to be a husband. Um, there was a lot I had to reprogram. I had to do everything the opposite of what I was taught growing up. Um, but as I started to kind of watch your father, how he was with his kids, I learned how to be a good man, a good father, a good husband. Like I started to really focus on my family, and we always talked about education. We try to make it a point to sit down like once a week and talk to the kids and talk and listen. And they start responding, they start doing great in school, and then like they start coming home with awards. I'm like, wow, man, our kids are doing all right. So then I'm thinking like I said earlier, maybe I'm all right. Maybe I got what it takes. Maybe I'm a good dad. Maybe I'm a good man now. And they continue to progress. They continue to do great things. Then just hearing about kids out here gang banging, losing their lives, in and out of incarceration, I start getting motivated and say like, I know what it's like. Maybe some of these kids don't have anybody to turn to like I did. And so, like I said earlier, I used to tell Tasha a long time ago, I'm going to get up. one of these days. And it just took time, and it would always just kind of come back in my mind when I would hear about, you know, the struggle, the kids, and then I started really changing my ways, who I hung out with, putting my family first, and I I started to focus on wanting to come back. It took time. That's why I did the article. I did the article trying to clear my name to come back here, to work with the kids, and it led me to the schools in Santa Ana. I guess like I started to, like I realized how much my life turned around. Like things went from like me thinking I didn't want to be here to like, man, life is so beautiful. We've been to like Hawaii, man. Like we got a beautiful family, like stuff I never imagined, right? Um, like I started like telling myself like I want to just be blessed. Like I want to be a blessing to others, and I want to start with the kids. I want to start with the youth. I want to get out there and give them the support that I needed growing up, hoping that they can avoid some of the pitfalls that I made when I was in their shoes. And through the work that I've been able to do, Project Kinship in Santa Ana Unified School District, you know, Mr. Rios will tell you, like a lot of these kids, we've helped them get out of gangs, we've helped them go to college, um, we've helped them just see life different. And now I got kids that I've been working with. They're like in their 20s now. They're chasing down their education. They're pursuing their higher education. They're starting families. They believe in themselves. And that's what it's about. Is helping them reach their potential, the potential that I never thought I had. So I just wanted to use that to inspire others, and it happened. Also, no, no, yeah. Thank you for that, Mr. Rios. I agree, 100%. I agree, and that's what it takes. Is with the heart, want to help. 'Cause as we know, with that support, you can change the whole trajectory of somebody's life. Especially the youth. It's easy to go and follow what you know in the neighborhood, the wrong people. Like we see it all the time. But when you have somebody who's out for your best interest that you believe in, that supports you, that's willing to walk with you, through those years of their life, we see the transformation. We see the change. So yeah, I too hope more people continue to sign up and walk the walk and do the work. Uh, Project Kinship is growing. When I started with Project Kinship, we had like 10 staff. We just had a staff meeting Friday. There's like 100 of us, 105, and we got like 20 more coming. So it's a beautiful thing to see. Um, but I believe that's what it takes. I hope one day restorative practices at all schools across the country, everywhere. All schools need it. All kids need it. Sometimes these kids, teachers don't always have the time to understand or take the time to get to know the students and what they're dealing with and what they're going through. They got 30 kids, 6 periods a day. It's hard to connect with some of these students who misbehave and understand why they're misbehaving. But as we know, you know, those kids who are acting like that or acting out or being disrespectful, they need the most support and the most love. And when they get it, you see different results. And so it's been special. It's been very special. And I work at one of the most challenging schools in Orange County. I work at Santa Ana Valley High School. It's busy over there. It's busy, busy, busy. One of my next students just showed up, man, and it means a lot to me. It's just what I live for. I live to be there, to walk with them, to believe in them, to support them, to you know help them to believe in themselves. and go and do anything they set their mind to. Because I never thought I would be here. One thing I tell the kids that I work with, put a plan together. When I was 15, 16, 17, 18, I didn't have any plans for what I would do when I was 20, 25, 30. I never, like a lot of kids, they're in survival mode day to day. But I wish I would have started thinking back then, like, what are you gonna do after high school? I want to be a firefighter. I want to do. I never thought that far ahead, but it's important, because I ended up 21 years old. I got shot almost. I made it to 25, 30. Just didn't have plans. Just getting by. Yeah, it's been a blessing. What's up, Vincent? Good, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Yeah, yeah. Appreciate you being here, man. That's my boy right there. Marcos, good to see you, man. It's been a while. Any um, any more questions? Anybody? Good question. So he said, "What is the best part of the book to look forward to for those who haven't read it?" I like the ending of the book of my transformation. I'm like the beginning of the book. Um, it's still hard for me to read. To know that that was once me, and the things that I participated in, the things that I did, like I regret it. Um, but the second half of the book is good, like the transformation, my family, um, my healing process, and the work that I do. There's a letter in the back of the book from a kid that I worked with that he was heading down the wrong path, and we just kept supporting him, believing in him. And I remember he was missing one year, like 77 full days of school, and it wasn't even like at the end of the school. He basically didn't go to school. We'd go to his home, knock on his door. He finally started coming to school. Um, he was a tough one to work with, but I remember one day we were walking around Valley High School, and he said, "Hey Jimmy, I picked up a seventh period," and I'm like, "For what?" And he was to catch up on credits. What? You don't even come to school now. You got a seventh period, and he did. He picked up on credits. He graduated. He went to college, lived in UCC, and if he can do it, anybody can do it. But my favorite part of the last few chapters, like redemption, forgiveness, um, and just what I'm doing with my life now. So, good question. Been seeing this guy in forever, man. I grew up with him. Anybody else? Any other questions? Yeah. So, the question was, what's the next book, the next chapter of my life? I've been considering going to college and trying to get a degree, so I might pursue that. But I would like to probably talk about like post traumatic healing and what that's been like for me, the transformation going from this to this, and like the setbacks, the lack of support, the support that I had, um, what motivated me, and just more in depth of what that process was like. Because so many people ask me questions like that, like, how did you change? What did that look like? We want more. Somebody just told me last week, I give your book a 95 out of 100. I'm like, that's great. She said, I would have gave it 100. What did she say? It was too short, or what? I wanted more. I wanted more. She said the book was great, but I wanted more. And so I think that's what people are asking. They want to go deeper, just step by step of what that transformation was like. Because there's a lot of people out there today that are looking for those answers, and I think maybe if I can answer some of those questions, show the growth that I went through to get to where I'm at. So I don't know. I'm still contemplating. It's writing is challenging for me, but I'm just blessed that I was able to put a good product out there, and the feedback has been great. So maybe I'll be on an island one day and I'll get motivated. I don't know. But, yeah, so it's inspiring to me that people are asking for another book. You know, so we'll see how it goes. Courtney Barry's brother or my daughter? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That was as you know in the book. If those who haven't read the book, Courtney is Barry's brother, my mom's husband's brother. And he got out of prison in Missouri and came to live with us and went through hell with Barry in that house with the mental, verbal, physical abuse that I went through that kind of turned me into the monster I was. I remember when my mom said Barry's brother's coming to live with us. I said, "Oh man, I got to deal with two of them now." Like, man, you got to be kidding me, you know. But he was the complete opposite. He was like a big brother. He always looked out for me in the streets. He was funny, you know. He was all he actually was somebody like that I could talk to that and I felt like family, like almost instantly. He looked out for me in the streets, and he 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 was a blessing in disguise. You know, even to the night when I got shot, and I'm laying there choking on my blood, thinking, "This is it. I can't breathe. I can't move. I'm drowning. There's nobody." And almost like when you're underwater for too long, thinking, I'm going to take my last breath here any minute. And then here comes Courtney out of nowhere and tilts my head over. All the blood start coming out. I start breathing again. I remember hearing the cops yelling, put him down. And Courtney's yelling back, he can't breathe. He can't breathe. And they're like, put him down and back up. And he's like, no. And he just disobeyed the cops. He held my head sideways. Yeah, I love Courtney. I named my daughter after him, but he turned out to be a blessing in disguise for me. You had a question? The most difficult part of doing the book? Oh, man, a lot, man. Trying to protect people and not hurt like some of the characters in the book, like my mom. Um, I didn't want to write a book and say like I don't want to blame anybody, right? I didn't want to hurt my mom. Originally, I just put it all out there, and then I read through it, and I was like, people are gonna be mad at me, man. I just put it all out there, so I had to keep going back, cleaning it up. So I think people get the point of what part of my life could have been prevented. A little more support, more love. My mom did the best she could. You know, she didn't have the best upbringing herself. But I would say protecting my mom, making the book flow, um, putting it all together. I did have to hire some help to get it proofread, edited, things like that. But I think you weren't here when I spoke earlier on it. So there was those challenges, and I was working with you and some of the youth there at the school when I was writing it. You probably remember me talking about it back in 2017, 18. During that time, like, I was going to funerals because youth I was working with were losing their lives. You know, gang violence, suicide, overdoses, and it hurt me. You know, while I'm opening up myself, writing up my traumas and the abuse I took and the things that I went through. I'm one burying 14, 15, 16-year-olds and watching their moms cry and their families cry, and it took a lot out of me to try to go home and talk about the same type of abuse and gang violence and stuff that I was dealing with when I was a kid. So that part of it was really hard. you know, I would close the book for months at a time. There was times I would close that book for 6 months and focus on work. And then I also hesitated finishing the book and putting it out there because it was so busy during those years at Valley that I didn't want to lose focus on the work and it be about the book. And so I always said, I'm going to drop the book in like June or July, and then I'll have the summer to do things like this. But the book just happened to come out in January, and I've been able to balance work and the book stuff. But yeah, just all those things made it hard. It was hard. It was really hard. Like I almost feel like at Valley High School now. Like as long as I've been there, and all the relationships that I've built, and all the great things that happened. The book came out and just kind of like it's doing really well in Santa Ana. It's doing really well in the schools, and I almost feel like I'm just the guy Jimmy who wrote the book. I'm like, I hope I don't become oh, that's the guy that wrote the book, not the guy that left you guys out here. To help us. Either way, um, it's helping the youngsters. It's helping the teachers. I have teachers that have came up and bought bulk orders of the books that are doing book reading clubs in the classroom, and so it turned out better than I expected, and I'm glad for that because it was really hard to write the book. Hopefully, yep. What time we got? 11. All right, all right. Anything else? Anybody? That's it. That's it. All right. Well, again, thank you guys for coming out. I know you guys could have been anywhere else on this beautiful Sunday. It means a lot to me for you guys here and have this discussion. I am planning on doing a book launch party. It's a little late here, but maybe in August we'll have some dates maybe in the next couple of weeks, and so I'll send those invitations out to everybody. Just looking forward to just celebrate, the book, the success, the impact, and yeah. In the meantime, just helping you guys share the book, share the story, get it out there. It's a good read, I think. I think everybody's feedback has been pretty consistent. I'm getting people reaching out from all over the place. Like I've heard it from people, some of you people that I know, and I hear from people, out in Texas or New Hampshire. Like, New Hampshire, you're reading the book out there, but the feedback has been pretty consistent across the table from everybody everywhere. I'm just grateful to know that it's impacting people. People think that it's a book that everybody should read. Um, I kind of struggled with the book cover because I like, don't judge a book by the cover. And I feel like actually we were at the Bay Area Book Festival. This one guy came up and he looked at it, and he read the back, and he asked some questions. Actually, no, not this guy. He looked at it and he said, "Whoa, scary," and he just kept walking. And I hope I hope the cover didn't think people that it's just a book of violence and criminal activity and things. Yeah, it's in there, but you guys that read it know like there's a lot more to that in that book right there. There's a lot in there. Um, thank you, thank you, thank you. I went back and forth with it. I had actually a tattoo artist helping me draw out a book cover, and then he was like, "Give me some pictures, some old pictures of you." Uh, and I started giving him everything, and then this is one of the last pictures I gave him, and he stopped and goes, "Just use that." He stopped the drawing and everything. He was like, "Just use that cover," and I was like, "All right, cool." So we went with that. But thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Yeah, but man, thank you guys. I really appreciate it, and just continue help support. I appreciate the support and help spread the love, spread the word, and hopefully we can have a party later and just gather and have a good old time. But thank you guys. It means a lot to me. I love you guys, and best wishes to all of you.